Hello, it's Claire here. Welcome back to another vlog. This one is a bit of a special recap of what I've been doing this past week. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I spent the last week in Tasmania teaching a art retreat for Artable. We headed to Devonport and we visited the Tulip farm and stayed at the most beautiful location ever. It was heaps of fun. And so this is a little recap of what happened at the workshop and where we stayed. And so I hope you enjoy watching. The workshop runs pretty much every year. I've done it a few years in a row now, and it goes for 5 days, and we just paint and eat and drink and make friends, and it is an awesome time. So I just thought I'd quickly show you the artworks that I created while I was on this retreat. So just to give you a bit of context, most of the artists that came to the retreat were either beginners or sort of early in their career of painting, or they have been painting for a while but they're not familiar with acrylic paint. Quite a few of them had experience painting in other mediums or in different techniques as well, not necessarily loose kind of expressive painting but more controlled painting, and so they were basically there to try and learn how to paint with acrylic paint in a more expressive way, how to mix colors, how to represent complicated subjects in a simple way. So that was kind of the parameters of the workshop, and that's what we sort of worked on. So I concentrated a lot on teaching them to see values instead of color, how to mix colors and values, and also how to apply paint in a really expressive way and build up the painting in layers. So starting with quite a loose painting and then refining it as you build it up. So we did quite a few artworks, and some of them I worked with them together. So I did slow step by step, and then some of them they created on their own, and then I just created samples of those. So these are all the artworks that I created. So to start with, on the first day, on the Monday, we went to the Tulip Festival, or the Tulip Farm. And so we mostly just took photos and got to know each other. And so the first day in the studio was the Tuesday. And I sort of started by easing them in slowly and doing some colour mixing and some colour studies type things. So we mixed up some colour wheels, did a little bit of colour mixing and talked about that. And then we jumped into doing some flowers. So I took them through the process of creating a vase of flowers from their imagination. And so this was the demonstration painting that I did with that. It was loosely inspired by tulips, as you can see, but I took them through the steps of, creating this artwork. And then we had I'm gonna put it over there. Then we did have a vase of flowers in the room that we used as reference for a few of our artworks. So that was these two here. So I think we started with this one. And again, I started by showing them the process of putting together the composition and mixing the colors to create a loose representation of flowers. And then I did another one of the same arrangement. I really wanted them to focus on looking at values and value changes, and how changes in value can help define depth and form within the paintings. Those. Later on in the week, I also did a few little still life, again based on a little setup that we had in front of us. So this was It's just some of these what are they called? Ranunculus. These were ranunculus. This was earlier in the week, and then by the end of the week they were sort of starting to droop, so I kind of took them out of the big vase and put them in a little cup, and I did some little studies of them. So that were these. I really like these too. I like the close-up composition of them and the looseness of them, so they were fun. So this was the demonstration piece that I did, and they all painted a similar composition to this with me, going step by step. And I found that because there is a bit of a difference between painting landscapes and painting flowers, I did find that they struggled a little bit with the landscapes and were getting a little bit stiff. And so then I got them all to do the following little exercise, which involved creating really loose abstract landscapes. So we just had one big sheet of paper that we divided into 4, and we just created some really random abstract marks onto the paper, and then we created them and turned them into landscapes by adding some details. So I did quite a few of them, but the students really enjoyed this because it was a chance for them to sort of get used to applying paint in an expressive way without the pressure of it having to look like anything finished. They're just like really simple abstract landscapes, and they have some beautiful textures in them because of all the looseness of the paint. So yeah, I did quite a few of these in a few different colors, some with more detail than others, but they're just really simple little abstract landscapes. I really love the pink sky in this one. And because the paint is, we sort of tape all the pages together and we treat it as one big painting and then cut it up. Because we do that, some really interesting things happen on the edges as well. Like, we can't really plan where the paint is going to go. I really like these warmer colours with these ones. All the really interesting brush strokes. Yeah, so we did those. That was a really good exercise and everyone really loved that. They found that really refreshing. And so then once we did that, we then moved on to some more landscapes. Let me see. I don't really remember what order we did them in. I think I may have done this one next with a bit of a seascape. Sorry, some of the painters chipped off that. But this was the view from where we were staying and the cove of where we were staying. I used photos that I took as reference. Jumping back into flowers now for a minute, we did create some paintings based on the tulips from the Tulip Festival. There was some pink ones, and then I did this red one. And then I also did this one. I think we actually did this one on the first day of painting. I really like this. These were really interesting to paint in as far as perspective, and a lot of the students, it really helped them understand perspective because you had to create quite a vague colour over here for the things further away, and then as things got closer they got bigger. So that was a really good lesson in perspective as well. Same with this one. This is a good lesson in perspective too. This one was another one that I painted based on the view from the accommodation. Again, we had this beautiful cove and these lush green hills that came down into the cove. This was a demo that I did based on a reference photo that I took from the Tulip Festival. So there was like this beautiful bushy area in the driveway, and so I took some photos of that and painted some examples from that too. Then this one as well, which again was just a close-up of the cliff and the water and the rocks and the ocean. I really enjoyed painting this one. This was probably one of my favourite ones. Yeah. So they were all the examples that I painted. Everyone, you know, obviously went off and painted some of their own work as well, and everyone had a great time. If you're interested in maybe looking up or coming to one of these retreats, I will put the link to the Artable website down below. I am heading back to Tasmania to this location next year in October, and then I'll also be doing a workshop straight after it in another location in Tasmania. So there'll be 2 Tasmania workshops available for 2023. So make sure that you do sign up to the Artable newsletter, not my newsletter necessarily, the Artable one, because Gillian will release the dates and the information for those through her website and through her newsletter. So if you don't want to miss out, make sure you sign up and keep track of all of her announcements, and she will let you know when these become available. The Tassie retreats do sell out very quickly. This is the 4th one that I've done, and they sell out every single year, and I'm sure these ones will sell out too. So if you are interested, then do make sure that you check the release dates and you sign up as soon as you can. And I hope you enjoyed this little retreat and art tour, and I will see you next time. Bye.